We're going back to basics because food is expensive, and this is a poor man's barbacoa. When I think of barbacoa, I don't really think of an ingredient list. My mind and heart flood with a feeling of barbacoa, of knowing that when we had it, it was a special occasion, and vague memories of high school in San Antonio and sleeping over Yanni's house for the first time. For some reason, I remember sitting on her bed, eating barbacoa tacos, and asking her what it was. With a devilish grin, she looked at me and said, "I'll tell you what it is, but only after you eat your first taco." I trusted her back then, and I'm still fortunate enough to say that I trust her today. But I also knew that barbacoa in San Antonio wasn't going to be much different from barbacoa in Chicago. Now, if you really know what this is made of, that's not what I'm using here. The process I'm using involves an Instant Pot, frying up some soft meat, and using the same ingredient lists that I keep checking on the internet for years. I feel like it's an important time to remind you that I'm an Osabo kid, and I actually never heard of that term until a few years ago. Living in a world when you don't quite fit in with the ethnicity box you're checking, while also spending time trying to prove your ethnicity to others, is exhausting. But the one thing I've learned over the years, be it from content creators or other friends of mine, is that it doesn't really matter where you come from, as long as you care enough about the recipe and you're honest about it. While learning to cook, I understand that certain recipes do require certain ingredients. While I still don't know what Mexican oregano is, and I don't generally like oregano in Italian food, it is 100% needed for this recipe. It's important to me to bring food as close to an authentic version of the version I'm trying to get it to with as few steps as possible. And while this isn't quite the barbacoa I grew up with, in fact, not by a long shot, we're still hitting all the same notes. I don't know that I will ever buy a cow's face, but I will catch a sale at Jewel and buy the chuck roast that's already cut up. I'll cut corners where I can, and I'll use last night's beans because it's the one thing I know the kids are going to eat. And since I'm showing you everything, you might as well know that this bag of rice from last night is going straight into the microwave. And in case you're wondering, no, the kids still don't like it. But my goal isn't to make sure that the kids like everything I make. My goal is for them to become accustomed to different types of foods and to try new things and to give them enough safe food for them to eat well. I hope you can adjust your expectations of me when it comes to this series, and I also hope that you're learning something. And here's a little secret. The most important ingredient isn't even in the pan. So go get your sale meat. We have meals to make.